You won't believe how easy this 2-ingredient mother sauce is. I'm going to show you 3 ways to use this sauce to elevate your cooking at home. This recipe is one of our more complex recipes. Water, butter. The butter emulsion is a very classic sauce. It's used in Michelin-star kitchens all around the country. But it's basically an emulsification of melted butter with water, and then obviously you're going to season it with a little bit of salt. And then that base can then be used for hundreds and hundreds of recipes. I'm going to show you 3 different ones today. Into my pan, I'm just going to add my water. So I've got 800 grams of water here. Now I'm just going to place that on a medium heat. I'm going to add 2 kilos of butter. Now obviously that is a big amount of butter, but obviously we're doing this in a restaurant. It's a 5-to-2 ratio butter to water, so you can scale it up and down as much as you want. We're going to put 3/4 of our butter into the pan with the water. Now, so this is just diced butter. At this stage, it doesn't even need to be diced. You can just put it literally into your pan. I'm not even going to weigh the quarter. It doesn't need to be exact. I've got my quarter of cold butter. Just going to pop that in the fridge so it remains nice and cold. I'm just going to lightly stir this until it's melted. A couple of pinches of salt just to add a nice seasoning. Don't want to season it fully here because we're going to use it for the sauces afterwards. So obviously you can always add a bit more salt into the individual sauces. We're just adding a little bit of base layer of seasoning. And then as this melts, we're just going to whisk it. It's a very, very, very simple recipe. My water can be any temperature when it goes in. It doesn't really matter because we're going to put it in the pan and we're going to bring it up anyway to boiling. As you can see, it's not the butter and the water is mixed here, but it's not emulsified. We want to make sure this liquid is very close to boiling before you add the last quarter. If it's just warm and the butter is melted in it, and then you blend in the remaining quarter of butter, it's going to go really thick, and then you're in danger of splitting it. So you want to get this mixture nice and hot. Okay, so my butter and my water is now fully melted, nice and hot. I'm literally just going to take my pan off the heat. With one hand, I'm going to blend the emulsion, and the other hand, I'm just going to add in the rest of my cold butter. And the cold butter emulsifying in, literally, so it's all just about getting the ratios right. So as long as your butter's hot there, and you're adding in the cold butter, blend it with a hand blender, and it's just all going to completely emulsify, blend together to a really smooth, silky sauce. So I want to blend it for maybe about 20-30 seconds. Yeah, so you can just see how it's now gone from a melted, yellowy looking emulsion to now it just looks like almost enriched double cream. The only thing you need to do is just make sure that all the butter is melted. And there you have it. It's as easy as that. So really smooth, completely emulsified, and really versatile. So the things you want to look out for here are just making sure that first of all your quantities are correct. So you want to make sure that your liquid is close to boiling, nice and hot, before you add in your last little bit of butter. Now it's the blending which fully emulsifies everything at the end. So as long as your ratios are correct and your temperatures are correct, then the hand blending is just the final step. A lot of people get confused with the blending and they start trying to blend it from the start, and then you end up over blending it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a miso emulsion to dress our cabbage. A little bit of miso paste, white miso paste, and we've got a little bit of confit garlic, which is just garlic that has been cooked down in oil and then blended till smooth. I'm going to put in a tiny bit of emulsion just to temper the miso paste so it doesn't go lumpy. So instead of confit garlic, you roast a whole bulb of garlic and then squeeze it out. So I've got my paste and my garlic, just working it so it's looser. But if you do this technique, we call it tempering, where you just melt a little bit into the sauce so it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to add the rest of our emulsion. I'm just going to gently heat that through. So when you heat your emulsion, you can reduce it slightly to change the consistency. But for this sauce, we want it a little bit thicker. Delicious. And the last thing we're going to add to that is a little bit of pickled lemon juice, just to add a nice bit of acidity. Or you can just use normal lemon juice, it's absolutely fine. There's our miso emulsion. I'm just going to dress that over our cabbage. This cabbage just comes straight off the barbecue. So I'm just going to put some of the emulsion over the cabbage. I'm just going to give that a minute in the oven. Soak through and glaze up. The sauce is just nicely thickening up. Just going to keep glazing that over our cabbage. A really nice way to do your different versions of vegetables to do on like a Sunday roast or something like that. Oh, that's sexy. The cabbage is looking nicely glazed. I'm going to give it a couple of twists of pepper. A little final sprinkling of salt. So there's our beautiful cabbage. And you've got the really nice, beautiful emulsion. Slightly thickened up, so if you reduce it, that's the consistency you get. And there you have it. The next sauce we're gonna do is our Tartare Beurre Blanc. So into my pan, I'm gonna add some white wine and some vinegar. I'm gonna put that onto our stove, finely sliced shallot. Sort of put this shallot in there to infuse and then strain it out. I kind of like the look of the slices, if I'm honest, but equally, a fine brunoise would work just as nice. So in there, we've got one medium shallot. So we're gonna put that onto a medium heat, and we're gonna reduce it down, and the liquid is gonna intensify in flavor, and it's gonna add a really nice, it's gonna have a beautiful acidity. In our sauce, we're gonna finish it with chopped cornichons, capers, got some horseradish, fresh lemon and lemon juice and lemon zest. So I'm gonna pick some tarragon. We're gonna finely chop that, the stalks of the tarragon, into our reduction. And that'll just infuse nicely into our liquid. And I'm also gonna put one garlic clove, just split in half, and that's gonna go into the infusion as well. Okay, so I just picked some parsley as well. We're gonna add our parsley stalks in there as well. So with my cornichons, I'm gonna cut it in half. Nice little brunoise of cornichon. So a beurre blanc is a traditional French sauce, very similar to what we're doing here. So you would start off in the same way with this lovely reduction. But at the stage where we get to the final reduction, instead of adding emulsion like we're going to add, you would take it off the heat and you would slowly add cubes of butter one by one. Ours is a little bit different because we're using the base, which has the water in. But by reducing it slightly, we'll end up with that similar buttery feel, but it won't be that traditional. So we're going to take that style of garnish. So we've got the cornichons, the capers, the horseradish, tarragon and parsley, and some lemon, giving us the sauce that we call Tartare Beurre Blanc. So I'm going to remove our flavourings and pick out the parsley stalks. So we're going to cook it till the shallots are almost dry. Most of the liquid has been absorbed by the shallots. All the flavour is in there because we're leaving the shallots in. Now I'm just going to add in my emulsion into our shallots. To go with our sauce, we've got a lovely bit of fish. We're just going to mix the parsley and the tarragon together. And we're just going to do a very, very fine chiffonade. So just going to get a nice colour on one side, a little bit of basting of the oil on the other, just so we've got a nice bit of colour. And then we're going to let the fish rest. Nice, generous seasoning of salt. And we're going to go in with our seasoning. So a little hit of horseradish, our diced cornichon, capers, a little hit of lemon zest. You can adjust the levels to your preference. Pepper. And we're going to season our fish at the same time. Just going to add in the fish juice into our beurre blanc. We're going to add our herbs. So we're going to add a couple of drops of lemon onto our fish. Put my sauce in. To evenly disperse it, just tap the bottom nicely so it all separates out lovely. And then we're going to go on with our lovely piece of cod. A little hit of beautiful, nice quality oil. And there we have it. Mussels, Sriracha, emulsion. This is one of our most signature dishes in the restaurant. We do this at our restaurant Row, and we also do the same sauce at Fallow. We're just going to go straight in with our mussels. On a high heat, yeah, you can cook mussels any way you want. You could do this on a barbecue, you could do it on an open flame. So just lightly toss them in the oil, get them roasting. That hot oil and the mussels roasting in the oil is going to give you a little bit of a nicer, slightly roasted flavour on your mussels. So I've got a little bit of stale bread. You'll just lightly toast in the oven, and we're going to place that underneath the mussels. Moist maker, reference to Friends. So once your mussels are just starting to open, we're going to go in with a small glug of white wine and just help to steam open the mussels slightly. So you can see the mussels are already opening, so they're getting cooked already. Then we're going to go in with our emulsion. One nice, generous 1.5 maybe of that, and then our Sriracha. Sriracha, you can buy it online in our restaurant shop. Make that 2 ladles of emulsion. So again, the sauce is super versatile. It's just a vessel to loosen up that Sriracha. Go with a little hit of confit garlic, a good pinch of salt, fresh lemon juice. You can see how that emulsion is coating the mussels. The mussels are all opening now. That juice from the mussels and the white wine is going to acidulate the sauce nicely. And you can add as much or as little Sriracha as you like. So there you go. Parsley goes in, just going to fold that lightly through. And that's it, good to go. Spoon the mussels all over the bread. So you get an ever so slightly smoky flavour from the oil on the mussels. That deep heat from the Sriracha. You can see how that sauce has just thickened nicely. So there you have it. That is 3 ways to use a very classic butter emulsion. like and subscribe.